Today we're diving into 11 positioning and game sense tips you guys sent me, and honestly, some of these are way too good. I guarantee you will learn something new and genuinely useful today. I collected all the messages that specifically talked about positioning, map knowledge, angles, and awareness, and we are going through all of them one by one. I will be showing your names, your levels, and your actual messages on screen, and after each one, I will add my own explanation so you can understand exactly why it works and how to use it in your matches. And at the end, I want you to comment how many of these tips you already knew. Also, make sure to join my Discord server if you want to participate in future videos like this one. The tips in this first section all revolve around one thing: staying alive by using the map properly and not ego peeking every angle. So Elias said that playing with cover helped him the most. His aim isn't as good as players at his level, so raw aim duels aren't that effective, but landing a few shots and then hiding helped him a ton. Map knowledge is necessary if you want to fully use cover to your advantage. This is honestly really good advice. If you struggle to out-aim opponents or just can't win open duels, switching to something like katana might help, but what actually wins fights is your cover usage. Playing low ground is not a bad thing. If we take Arena as an example, playing behind walls and windows while peeking every now and then gives you a huge advantage no matter what. Especially if you use something like sight to bait dashes or stay silent. This is especially strong against sniper players. This person said, "You don't always have to play aggressive. Using audio helps me know when the enemy is reloading or healing. Audio helps me find where they are." Level 490 by the way. Another solid tip: playing aggressive can be really bad. What I recommend is play aggressive until you can't. Meaning, play your normal aggressive style until the opponent actually punishes you. Once they do, change it. I know it's difficult, but staying patient and actually thinking about your next move is crucial. You can play slow and aggressive at the same time, nobody's stopping you. Just think before you do it. Audio is also extremely important. Most utilities make sounds, so do footsteps, gunshots, reloads, etc. Listening helps with awareness and also gives you options to fake sounds, like pretending to dash up when you actually don't. This person said, "Reload while in cover and sight dash perfectly." This is also important: never reload in the open. There are always ways to move out safely if you need to. Staying on top of walls in arena to switch to your secondary and keep fighting might not be the best option, especially if your opponent slides down as soon as they run out of bullets. Sitting up top without a reloaded weapon makes you vulnerable because they can catch you off guard. So thinking about whether you should reload or not is another thing worth considering. As for sight dashing, I talked about how to do it perfectly in my coaching episodes, which I will link at the top right so you can watch it later. This person mentioned the overuse of ADS in fights. I didn't include this in my aiming video, so I will talk about it here because it is valuable. They also said the biggest thing that helped them is analyzing my opponent's strategy and playstyle so I can predict pre-fire or hold where they will push from while staying in cover. First of all, it's not always necessary to ADS in fights, especially close range. Yes, there is slight bullet spread, but if the opponent is really close, there's no reason to ADS. Just don't limit yourself. It's also important to analyze how your opponent plays. Sure, it's a Roblox game, it's not that deep, but if you're serious about improving, knowing what your opponent does and how they do it helps a ton. Based on their loadout, you can make decisions. For example, if they're running flamethrower and battle axe, you don't want to take close range fights. Stay as far as possible. If you take a close look at how you won rounds or what mistakes they make, you can use that to win the next round too. Just keep track of how they move and where they move. That allows you to master pre-firing and awareness. Reacher explained basically the same thing, just in more detail. Really helpful advice that you should definitely consider. This person said, "Learning the maps and seeing how the enemy behaves helps me catch them off guard and get early shots." This is another example of analyzing your opponent's habits. Based on how they play, you can punish their mistakes and get a strong start. Map knowledge is also important, but there's nothing specific I can teach you there. The more you play, the more the map becomes second nature. As you play, test different positions, peak spots, angles. Over time, you will just memorize everything. This helps you know not only common angles people use, but also where they tend to move most of the time. These players talked about controlling your angle, breaking line of sight, and not being predictable, which is basically 70% of good positioning. Tape left a really valuable tip. Sliding off ledges gives you a solid movement boost and makes you a harder target. Using this with unpredictable dashes or movement leaves your opponent guessing while struggling to hit you. Again, if you're not confident taking a raw aim duel, focus on playing smart, using cover, and outplaying them like Tape explained. Sight is especially good if you want to maximize being unpredictable. Flop said he used to spam the ramp with katana, but now uses sight to reach the top easier without being spotted. Sliding off arena ledges instead of just walking makes tracking him much harder, pretty much what I talked about before. He also mentions slide cancelling. I made a movement video on my channel explaining it in detail. The first mistake is not using slide cancelling properly. Many of you are already familiar with slide cancelling, but I can assure you this is one of the most important mechanics, because without it, you won't learn how to strafe properly, do wall sliding, or get unstuck from most positions. So make sure to check that out after the video. It will be in the top right corner too. Spoon said, slide from middle to another ledge and jump before you get to it. Sliding off ledges helps you get down faster to reload or come back unexpectedly and beam them. We mentioned sliding off ledges again. I already explained why it's strong. Sliding wall to wall and jumping before reaching it is what I call infinite sliding on the walls. I also covered that in my movement video. It looks like this. Is it worth learning? I would say yes. A lot of high level players use it to outplay opponents. Experienced players are used to casual strafing, so it's not hard to counter. But doing this, staying unpredictable and chaining wall slides can throw anybody off. Pretty strong, but also hard to learn and master. This person said, don't play scared and turn your back on enemies. Really good advice. Being scared and panicking leads to bad decisions, and bad decisions lead to chaos and lost rounds. Instead, even if you're losing, just find cover, take a second to think, relax, and then continue fighting. Even if you lose anyway, you will eventually learn how to stop panicking. Even in ranked, don't stress too much. You will win more consistently over time. Never turn your back on enemies, that's a free loss. Always keep track of where they are, because based on that, you will know where to move and how. If you don't know where they are, you're at a huge disadvantage. This person said, don't push if they have a sniper or if you have low HP. I used to push every time. This is especially important. I mentioned earlier what works against snipers. Instead of taking long range fights and being exposed, play low ground with cover and slowly close in. The closer you are, the harder it becomes for them to hit you. Same with being low HP, just be unpredictable and you might clutch the round. And that's every single positioning related tip you guys sent. What I love is that almost all of them overlap, which tells you something. Positioning in Rivals isn't about flashy tech or insane mechanics. It's about playing smart, using the map, and not giving away free angles. If you want more videos like this, comment which one you want next. And if you want a chance to appear in future videos, join my Discord server. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.